Hello. Let me move that camera up a little bit. Hi, how is everyone? Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. So happy to be here with you all. As always, I am Amy of amyraup.com, and I get to come to you live every single week. I'm going to take off next week, though, just so you know. I do get my own vacations, too. But I get to come to you live every week and share with you what I think can be uplifting and insightful and helpful to you on your path to optimal health and fertility. Those of you that are brand new to me, welcome, welcome, welcome. So excited. I also, just an FYI, I know we're on Instagram and Facebook. I did start a TikTok account, and if anybody's on TikTok, look me up. Posting some fertility tips and videos, having fun over there. So I know a lot of you guys are new to me here. Follow me over there if you want to. And a lot of you guys have been with me a long time. Maybe you're on TikTok. Maybe you're having fun on there. Come over and join me. I'm brand new at it, so be kind. Anyway, hi. Those of you that are new to me, again, I am a women's health and fertility expert. I've been practicing in the field of fertility for almost 20 years. I've written a handful of books, 4 of them to be exact, and 2 of them are bestsellers in the world and space of fertility. This one right now we're going to focus on today, Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, because the last Thursday of every month is my book club, and this is the first book we've done for book club, which is Yes, You Can Get Pregnant. We are up to chapter 10 today. But a little backstory on me too is, like I said, I've been practicing for 17 years, been kind of in the field for longer than that. And prior to becoming an acupuncturist and herbalist, I studied biology, chemistry, neuroscience. I'm currently also working on a functional medicine training program. I also study with an herbal mentor, do all sorts of things to better educate myself and my knowledge, my expertise, so I can better support you on your path to optimal health and ultimately fertility. So this week, like I said, is book club, and we are at chapter 10 in Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, and it is called Overcoming Common Fertility Challenges. So I want to point out too that I did write this book it came out in 2014, so that means I wrote it in around 2012, 2013, and even back then, which were almost 10 years ago, I was talking about the link between autoimmunity and inflammation and fertility challenges. Not a lot of people were at all. Not a lot of people were connecting the dots, and I owe that credit to my research science background. I'm a nerd. I like to look at data. I like to look at research. When I was writing this book, I put my best foot forward like I do in all the things I create, and really dug into the research and really dug into asking the right questions from, I think, people that were like frontline, just like me, and really came clear that there was this link. And so that hence became the topic of conversation for my book after Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, which is Body Belief, and it's all about autoimmunity. And then the egg quality diet was developed from this research, the autoimmune research for Body Belief, and then kind of came to me like, poof, this is the diet that women with unexplained fertility challenges need to do, because they're gonna figure out so many ways to better support their body, to heal their gut, which is a huge component when it comes to fertility challenges, regulate their immune system, and make their body a more hospitable environment. So I am tuning my own horn here when I just say that I'm proud of myself that 10 years ago I was connecting those dots. It's a fairly new dot to be connected, and still there's a lot of clinicians out there that do not see a correlation between immune system issues or inflammatory conditions or autoimmunity and fertility challenges. And to me, that just says they're not up on the current research, which is a disservice to you if you're a client of theirs. So anyway, as always, I like to start reading a little bit from the book. Sorry, the light's hitting me in interesting ways here. So at this point, you have the tools to rejuvenate your fertility, regulate your hormones, and balance your immune system, regardless of what specific fertility issue or medical illness may be contributing to your situation. However, it is necessary that we discuss the most common fertility challenges that women are currently facing. Chances are, if you've been trying to conceive for some time, you have consulted with your doctor, discussed with your friends, read ad nauseum online about all the things that could be wrong. So before we get into this, I want to remind you, you are not broken. You are not broken. It is possible there are a few kinks in your system, but we can work them out, which is kind of my MO. It's what I always say. Fertility is an extension of health. We got to figure out the health piece, and then we can amplify your fertility. Fertility is an extension of health. They are never, ever, 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 ever separate. You are not your FSH. You are not your AMH. You are not your age. And you are definitely not a diagnosis. Okay? Did everybody hear me on that? So if you begin to follow the fertility rejuvenation program outlined in this book, you're already helping your body work out some of these kinks. But I do believe there's tremendous power in using both Eastern and Western. That's another, I think, beauty in how I practice, is I really bring an integrative approach to my clients, and my whole team does that. At this point, I'm honored to say I have a team of people working under me now, and we are serving thousands of you all over the world. Okay, so knowledge is power, and the information in this chapter is meant to empower you so that you can make the best choices for your health and your fertility. More importantly, the information that follows will assist you in deciphering if you have any autoimmunity going on that could be causing or exacerbating your fertility challenges. So right there in that sentence on page 156, I connected the dots. Remember, the current science is linking autoimmunity to the most common fertility issues. So mind you, that was science freaking 10 years ago, guys. So if a practitioner you are working with, a medical doctor you are working with, is not looking under the hood at potential autoimmune implications in your fertility case, if there are recurrent losses or unexplained fertility challenges and you've been at this for quite some time, you need to find a better doctor who's actually up on the research. We're all overwhelmed. We're all busy. We're all doing the best we can do. I'm not knocking anybody, but it's a disservice to you. Or at least then you need to enlist someone like me or another practitioner on your team that's going to help you look under the hood and dig deeper. Because the research has been supporting this link for over a decade. It's not new information. So what was I saying here? Remember, the current science is linking autoimmunity to the most common fertility issues, and the fertility rejuvenation protocol laid out in this book is aimed at calming autoimmunity in addition to improving egg quality and overall reproductive health. However, going over the symptoms and diagnostics of the most common fertility issues, as well as the predominant autoimmune diseases and how autoimmunity and fertility are being linked, will give you even more power. So then I go over what are the 4 most common causes of fertility challenges. You ready? Ovulation dysfunction, typically in the form of PCOS or premature ovarian. At the time it was called premature ovarian aging. Now they're calling it premature ovarian insufficiency. Anatomical problems, so that is abnormal development and function of the female anatomy. So usually fallopian tubes are blocked, or there's uterine fibroids, there's polyps, there's pelvic scar tissue, infections. Those can all, and those are, they say only about 20% of women, but they're not uncommon. More and more we're finding uterine infections are at the root of fertility challenges. I can't tell you how many women, when recommended to do a hysteroscopy, we come back and find endometritis, which is an infection in the uterine lining. Not endometriosis, endometritis. Endometriosis is number 3, very common cause of fertility challenges. And then number 4 is immunological problems. Autoimmune diseases such as autoimmune thyroid and celiac disease have been on the rise over the past 20 years and are linked to many reproductive disorders. These autoimmune diseases cause a problem with a woman's immune system, which can lead to sperm rejection or pregnancy loss. Antibodies in a woman's system can fail to recognize and hence reject sperm or an embryo, inhibiting conception and pregnancy. So one thing I want to, and we're going to get into it in a second, is thyroid. Thyroid, 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 thyroid. It is not enough to know what your TSH is, guys. In this book, I lay out the exact tests that you need your doctor to do. In my e-course, there's a whole module dedicated to your fertile body and the testing that needs to get done. It is so important. It is not just about your TSH. We need free T3, free T4. I want to see your ferritin. I want to see your iron levels. I want to see your vitamin D, and I want to see thyroid antibodies. Many doctors don't check thyroid antibodies because it don't make a difference in how they treat you. Until your thyroid actually crashes, does it matter? But in the case of fertility, it really matters. If you have Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune thyroid disease, you need to address it because it's definitely impacting your fertility. Definitely. And from my perspective, one of the best ways to address it is you got to heal the gut, but you really have to treat gluten, dairy, and soy like it's an allergy. Not like, oh, I avoid it 80% of the time. No, an allergy. Allergy. Okay. So PCOS. I'm not going to go into all the details. You guys should know what PCOS is, but it affects maybe 20 to 30% of women. It's a hormonal and metabolic imbalance. So typically they have too much testosterone and estrogen. They also have abnormal blood sugar levels and or insulin resistance. Sorry, I'm going to lean back out of the light because look at the difference there. There's some controversy as whether or not PCOS is an autoimmune disease. However, recent research in 2007, so again, guys, we're going back over a decade. If your doctor doesn't know this research, it annoys the shit out of me. A high concentration of anti-ovarian antibodies suggests that the immune reaction is associated with PCOS. A high concentration of anti-sperm antibodies suggests an association of the two conditions with PCOS. This means there is some evidence that PCOS is an autoimmune disease and that it causes autoimmunity against the ovaries and sperm. There's also a slightly higher incidence of PCOS in patients that have either autoimmune thyroid disease or type 1 diabetes. So what we'll start to see in autoimmunity is they all kind of lump together. So typically women with PCOS, like I said, have high testosterone and estrogen, and they don't ovulate regularly, and that impacts their ability to get pregnant. So I have a list in here of all the tests you need to get done to know whether or not you have it. And then I say how to naturally manage symptoms. So I want you to get the book if you want to know how to naturally manage the symptoms. So premature, I also have a little note in here that I think is also really important about birth control and ovulation disorders. If you have used birth control, your ovulation has been disrupted to prevent pregnancy. Birth control will affect your fertility once you stop taking it. And ovulation disorders are the leading cause of fertility issues. According to a 2010 paper published in a good journal, Contemporary OBGYN, reviewed many previous studies on various birth control methods, they discovered that the average time for a woman to resume normal ovulation after she stops contraceptive was 3 to 6 months. And all the way up to 10 months, depending on the study. So based on the research, take that into account. Okay, if you guys are currently on the pill and thinking about getting pregnant at some point in the future. So the next challenge is premature ovarian aging, or now currently called premature ovarian insufficiency. This is when women have a high level of FSH and a low level of AMH, regardless of their age. But usually they're younger, it's not age-appropriate levels, and they will determine you premature ovarian insufficiency. They don't have a ton of symptoms other than their labs are off and they're not getting pregnant, so that's a symptom. So I go into what your FSH levels should be, AMH, antral follicle count, and let's see, how to naturally manage symptoms. Again, going back through this book, I hadn't written egg quality diet yet, so I would encourage egg quality diet as well. And what does this mean for your fertility? I think this is an important thing to highlight, especially when it comes to lower AMH, higher FSH, lower egg count, antral follicle count. You need one good one, guys. One good one. Maybe two, depending on how big you want your family to be. So even if your ovarian reserve is showing signs of diminishing, following the recommendations in this book and believe in the power you have to change your health and your fertility. Your focus is to improve your egg quality, and this book is loaded with information on how to just do that. Okay? So endometriosis. So next to PCOS, endometriosis is the second most common cause of fertility challenges. It is a female health disorder that occurs when cells from the lining of the uterus, the endometrial lining, grow in other areas of the body, such as the ovaries, intestines, fallopian tubes. I've actually seen it on the lungs, seen it on the bladder. It can get everywhere. It's a nasty disease. It really is. Endo is tricky and slimy and gross, and it gets everywhere. And it is considered an inflammatory condition, but it has autoimmune characteristics. And in my clinical practice, it responds really well when you treat it like an autoimmune condition. That endometriosis really is the basis of all my autoimmune work, like including my book Body Belief and including the egg quality diet, because endometriosis is probably one of the most common causes of unexplained infertility because it's so hard to diagnose. And what I've seen clinically, like I said, when I go after it like an autoimmune condition, endo seems to resolve whether or not you do surgery. The surgery can really help the situation if need be. I'm not against it by any means. And fertility outcomes dramatically improve. And also keep in mind too, if you have endometriosis on your ovaries, it will lower your AMH. You clear up the endometriosis, your AMH will improve. Because AMH is a hormone secreted by the ovaries. When you improve ovarian blood flow, you will improve the AMH. As with PCOS, there's some controversy as whether or not it's an autoimmune condition. However, research published in 2012 from Autoimmunity Review says in some of these women with endometriosis, there are also chronic local inflammatory process and the presence of autoantibodies. It is not known whether this process is part of the etiology or a secondary response to the ectopic cells. Furthermore, endometriosis shares similarities with several autoimmune diseases. Another paper says substantial evidence indicates that endometriosis at least shares many similarities with autoimmune diseases. So again, I kind of went over it, like the only way to truly diagnose is lap or pelvic MRI. There are some really good autoimmune style testing out there now. Pregmune is one of the only one that I know of actually, and it was founded by Andrea Vidali, who is a reproductive endocrinologist, immunologist, endometriosis surgeon, who is brilliant and a leader in the field. You can check it out at pregmune.com, and it's extensive blood work that will tell you whether or not you have the inflammatory process going on in your body and how that could be impacting your ability to get pregnant. Check it out. And so, again, how to naturally manage symptoms. I really go into detail in this in the book, so I would encourage you to get the book if you think you have endo or want to look deeper into that, or even just check out Egg Quality Diet, check out both, Body Belief. All my books really will give you tips and tools on this. Endometriosis can not only cause hormonal imbalances that can prevent pregnancy, but it can also cause anatomical ones such as blocked tubes, and it can also cause immune-related reactions to pregnancy. So be disciplined, follow the guidelines in this book, and manage your symptoms. And then I go into the 3 most common undiagnosed autoimmune diseases that are impacting fertility. Type 1 diabetes, it's typically never undiagnosed because you really can't live unless it's diagnosed. But people aren't necessarily seeing a correlation between, or doctors don't connect the dots. Oh, you have type 1? Okay, we need to treat this like an autoimmune condition, when a fertility challenge erupts. I go through the symptoms of type 1. I think it's really hard to have type 1 and not have been diagnosed, personally. Then autoimmune thyroid disease. This is such a common undiagnosed condition, and I've already talked about it. And all the panels you need, all the tests you need are in this book. And I love this. My doctor tested my thyroid and it's fine. It is likely your doctor did not do a complete thyroid panel, including testing for thyroid antibodies. Getting your thyroid antibodies tested is imperative to your fertility. Get them tested. Double check your thyroid lab test results with the numbers below and make sure your numbers are in normal fertile range. So TSH should never, ever, 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 ever be over a 2.5. Ever. If you are trying to get pregnant, your TSH needs to be between a 1 and a 2.5. It can be a little lower than a 1. That's okay. But I do not want to see it above a 2.5. And any doctor who tells you your TSH is in normal range and you should get pregnant and it's a 3, fire them. Get out of their office. Run for your life. No. TSH needs to be below a 2.5 for you to get pregnant. It's a functional range. Period. End of story. Can you see how heated I get about that? Because you know how many freaking girls I see in my office that are like, I've been working with my gynecologist and she's giving me Clomid and I'm still not pregnant. And then I say, what's your TSH? Oh, my TSH is normal. I need to see the labs. Oh, I see the labs. Oh, her TSH is a 4.5. My doctor says that's normal. That's not normal. That's not normal. Girl, you're not going to get pregnant. You're not going to get pregnant. And if you do get pregnant, you're going to miscarry. Not normal. You got to get your TSH checked. And guess what else you got to get your TSH checked? The second you get pregnant, your TSH needs to be checked and it needs to be in range because you work damn hard to get pregnant. All right. Thyroid antibodies. I talk about it here. So I say if you test positive for any of the thyroid antibodies, you have autoimmune thyroid disease and need to strictly adhere to the recommendations in this book and be monitored by an endocrinologist. Autoimmune thyroid disease is one of the most overlooked diseases affecting fertility and pregnancy, especially if you are experiencing any of the above thyroid symptoms. I cannot urge you enough to get your thyroid antibodies checked. And then I go over what you need to do, and I talk about dairy and gluten in your thyroid. If you have autoimmune thyroid disease, you need to stop eating both dairy and gluten immediately, and also soy. So a body with autoimmune thyroid disease reacts to dairy, gluten, and thyroid tissue. It all is a cross reaction is basically what happens. Removing dairy, gluten, and soy will dramatically improve your health and your fertility. And then celiac disease. It's another really common, hard to diagnose issue affecting fertility. When in doubt, go gluten-free. I don't think everybody needs to be gluten-free to get pregnant. I don't think that. But when in doubt, explore this. I go over how to get tested, common symptoms, how to naturally manage symptoms. Then I get into Chinese medicine, which is my jam. I talk about essence, which is a big part of this book. I talk about qi, and I talk about blood. Those are our three vital substances. Without them in check and in abundance, fertility will be compromised. I give you a whole questionnaire to fill out so you can figure out kind of where you fall in this category. People love a quiz. Get the book, take the quiz, see where you fall. And then, depending on where you fall, I give you steps on what to do for qi deficiency, what to do for liver qi stagnation, what to do for blood deficiency or blood stagnation. Yes, all of it's in here, chapter 10. So, as you can tell, I get really passionate about talking the autoimmune inflammatory piece to the fertility puzzle. And it's just something really important that we all need to look at. And like I always say, fertility is an extension of health. And so typically if you're not getting pregnant, it's your body's way of saying there's bigger fish to fry right now. I got other things going on. I can't manage this. I can't make a baby in this environment. I gotta clean this up. I gotta figure this out. And that's where you come in. That's where your power comes back. You get to take back the power over your health and dramatically shift your health and therefore your fertility. And I know you can do it because like I said, I've been doing this for 2 decades and I've seen a lot of women do it. So I know you can too. This book has a lot of the information on how to do it, as do my other books, as do my weekly lives here and anything else I put out in the world for all of you to consume, because my number one goal is to empower you, give you the information so you can ask the right questions, so you can get this working and get that baby in your belly, okay? So to all of you who celebrate Christmas, have a Merry Christmas. I'm going to sign off for my Christmas break, which starts right now. And all of you celebrate Hanukkah. I hope you had a happy one and send you lots of love. Happy New Year to all of you. You'll probably see me pop in on the gram during the next 10 days, but I'm technically off of work starting right now. And so wishing you all the best, and I will see you guys in 2022. If you want to learn more about me, head to my website, amyralph.com. I have coaches. We can coach women anywhere in the world. Please reach out to us if you want more support on your fertility path, or get my books. All my books are on my website. Sign up for my newsletter. You get a shit ton of information from me that is free and that can help you live your best life, your most fertile life, and achieve your dream of becoming a mother or bringing in another child if you're already a mother. Okay. I love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you in the new year. Bye, Instagram. Love you guys.